It's Happy Hour with the Cardinals live from Minsky's Pizza in Liberty. It's our final one of the year, and it seems, I don't think it was planned this way, but the way it worked out is we're talking football here early on with our interview with Brad Strauss and Jared Hobby, the two returning quarterbacks on. And now we'll get to some new folks that, new in some sense. Quinn Brown actually did coach here with the Cardinals starting back in 2012, and Chuck Lliteras, who was the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals during the 2006-2007 year, are joining us now, and you're the two new guys on the staff. Quinn, let's start with you a little bit. Offensive line coach and recruiting coordinator. How has that all gone for you?
It's going well. Had an opportunity to go take on some new responsibilities that haven't done in the past, just being a GA, and looking forward to coaching the offensive line, getting them playing better, and working with our recruiting department and getting guys in here that we can win conference championships with.
Well, let's talk about, again, the not being a GA this year. That's kind of new for you because you've been a GA in a couple of spots. Where were you the graduate assistant?
Absolutely. I started out my first year as a graduate assistant here at William Jewell in 2012. Then I went and GA'd for 3 years at the University of Wyoming, and then 1 year at the University of Northern Colorado.
You're still working on your degree, right? Your master's degree, is that accurate?
I actually just passed my thesis defense on
Friday.
So
congratulations.
Yeah.
So you'll have your master's degree, and ultimately, would you like to be a head coach, or are you happy with the assistant role for a while?
Right now, I'm pretty happy with being an assistant, but that would be a goal of mine, is to be a head coach at some point.
And you went to the University of Missouri initially, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And from Bramer, Missouri. Where is that?
Bramer, Missouri is about 30 minutes south of Chillicothe, Missouri.
Okay.
So
all right.
About an hour northeast of here.
Okay. We'll get back to Quinn Brown here in just a moment. Chuck Lliteras is our other guest here at the moment, defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, but a defensive mind that has been, I hope you don't take offense to this, but you've been around for a while with a lot of different stops. Boy, I tell you, people say great things about you, and I remember you when you were here your first time around. Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think Coach Weigel's assembled a wonderful football staff, and my hat's off to Coach Brown here. Quinn, he's doing a great job with the offensive line, and as we all know, if we're going to win those championships, it starts with the offensive line. So I'm very impressed with Coach Brown.
Well, let's talk about defense for just a moment. You were the were you the coordinator back in 06-07, that year you were here?
Yeah, those 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, Fran was the head coach, and Dr. Red was the AD, and I came in from Harrisonville as a defensive coordinator, and we put the same defense in that we're running now, and had a lot of fun with it. And of course, over the years, as offenses have matured and changed, the defense has grown as well. So we had a good spring ball with it, and I'm happy with the way the kids played the schemes. And other than a few personnel mismatches, I thought they handled those responsibilities very well.
Chuck Lliteras, our new defensive coordinator at William Jewell. You were here in the NAIA days, and now it's Division II. Is football right now?
You know what, Rick, the X's and O's are relative. It doesn't make any difference anymore. You can be at Blue Valley North or Harrisonville or Liberty North, and or Nebraska or Missouri or wherever, and the X's and O's are pretty much relative. It's the people that are playing the game, and again, the way the game has gone, all the OCs are looking for personnel mismatches, and the game's wide open, and it's a lot different than when I first started out.
Yeah. So. Well, is that the biggest thing then? The game has become a spread game now, even since 2006 and 7?
More so, in the league that we're in, it's more spread and one back, and a lot of zone read and counter G and stuff like that. And in the HAC conference, of course, with Benedicting and some of those guys in there, it was, buckle the chin strap up and let's go. It's going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and they're going to hit you in the mouth, and you better be able to stop them. So.
Chuck, we'll come back. I'm going to talk to you about the same things I'm basically talking to Quinn about. But Quinn, when you come in here and take over the offensive line, do you look to make changes? Do you look to add some continuity, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, just a little bit of both. Look forward to it. I've known Coach Gallagher for a while. Been working with him. Worked with him in 2012 when I was here before, and using a lot of things haven't changed. Been able to add my terminology, my philosophy, a little bit of that stuff into what we're doing on the offensive line, but it hasn't changed a whole lot. More than anything, just trying to get the guys to play hard and play fast, and be part of something bigger than just the team.
Quinn Brown is the offensive line coach. We're visiting with him a little bit. Talking about terminology for offensive linemen, how deep does that go, or does it expand over the entire offense, or do they have their own terminology?
I would say the offensive line has their own separate language. They speak in a language that no one else really understands.
Not talking about play calling now, not just in general.
Yeah, I'm saying in general, just the way we communicate, the way we talk. A lot of people listen to us and they're like, "What are you guys talking about?" And so I would say, it's quite a bit different than everybody else is talking.
Yeah. What's the number one attribute an offensive lineman has to have for your system? What's the one thing you're looking for?
They just got to be willing to compete every single play. Put everything out there on the line, and be a part of something bigger than just themselves. If you're willing to compete and you're willing to give everything you got for the greater good of the team, then you're going to be an all right offensive lineman for us. And we can build off of that and find ways to plug you in there in spots that you can be successful and help the team be successful.
Chuck, what about on defense? Same question. What's the thing you're looking for in players in general to play for you?
Well, the biggest thing in today's game is the defensive people have to be powerful, and they have to be able to move quickly. And speed is, you can't put enough a high enough price tag on speed because of all the one-on-one mismatches. And then finally, at least in my opinion, game sense has to be pretty high to number one on the list because of all the adjustments and stuff that are going on from the sideline to the playing field as the play is setting up. So in our scheme, we I always tell the defense, I don't want you playing like robots out there, and we give them the freedom to make the checks on the field, so at least we have an opportunity to be aligned correctly and be able to play our assignments correctly.
How do you teach that in practice? How do you coach that in practice?
Well, we do it from day one, and most of our practices are scripted, and they're off of wristbands, and we script and put in checks by personnel groups, and they just start memorizing them. It's mental and physical repetitions that allow us to do that, and then by not tying them down specifically in their assignments, it allows us to play more freely. We're still a gap-controlled defense, but as long as everyone's got a gap, I'm not necessarily concerned that I have to tell John Doe, you're in A gap every time, and Bobby, you're in B gap. If they switch that up, then a little story, back when we played Lindenwood in the NAIA days, offensive coordinator, I think we won the game 21-14 or something like that. I can't remember the specific score, but the OC came over and he said, "Coach, I counted 57 different blitzes that you guys ran today." And I said, "Well, we don't have 57, but the kids were allowed to play those games, and as long as they were technically and fundamentally correct and played their assignments, it adds for a little more problems for the offensive coordinator on the other side of the ball."
Chuck, will we see some of that in 2017?
You're going to see a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. Quinn, to you, when you work with the offensive linemen, how many guys do you want, and are they interchangeable? Do you have a set of guys that, if you're a tackle, you're a tackle, if you're a guard, you're a guard, or are they interchangeable a little bit?
They're a little bit interchangeable. You got some guys that are more natural inside, and some guys that have a little bit more length and are on the outside. But usually you see a guy that's either a guard and center or a guard and tackle, and you can kind of change those things around and make it fit together for the best offensive line you can have.
Tell me about the University of Wyoming. Tim Crone's going to come on and talk about Wyoming in a little bit. And I'm from Western Nebraska, and we're going to get to Chuck's story about Western Nebraska also. But Wyoming for you, how'd you like Laramie?
I loved Laramie. It was an awesome opportunity to go out there. When I first got hired there, I was hired by Dave Christensen, who was a coach at Missouri when I was there. Worked for him for a year, and then got to stay on staff with Coach Bowl as he took over and was with him for 2 years. So it was a great opportunity. Got to learn from a lot of really good coaches, and it's an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything.
Chuck, you're from Western Nebraska, dear and dear to my heart, Hemingford, Nebraska, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were telling me the other day you've got a lot of brothers that grew up with you, and that Hemingford program must have been something.
Well, there are still, being the oldest, I thought, well, you know, I got to 6 foot tall, and I thought, well, maybe I'll lead the way, but my younger brothers were all 6'5", 6'8", 7 foot, and
Are you kidding? That big, huh?
when they played basketball and football, it was a interesting combination out there, and so the people out there in the Panhandle of Nebraska had to deal with them guys for a while, and I was certainly proud of them, and certainly proud of what they've done with their lives, but it was a pleasure following them because I was long gone by that time when they came through school, but it was fun following them.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got this Western kind of thing going on now. Sean Weigel's from that direction. Quinn, you've been in Wyoming, so it's starting to feel a little bit more like home around here.
Yeah, it feels great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Chuck Lliteras is with us here, and one thing we haven't talked about, 2013, you were named to the Missouri High School Football Hall of Fame, and so it's neat to have a Hall of Famer on the staff. We've got several of those on our staff, but that's something I didn't realize when I was doing a little bit of research. Congratulations on that as well. And Quinn, thank you so much for joining us here. Best of luck with the offensive line. We all know where that is kind of the heart and soul of the offense. Those 2 quarterbacks we had on, I know that they're looking forward to playing with a great offensive line, and I hope you're the guy to do it. So that'll be exciting to watch.
Thanks for having us on.
Hey, appreciate it. Quinn Brown, Chuck Lliteras. Thank you, Chuck. You bet. And happy hour with the Cardinals will continue in just a moment.